Hey everyone, it's Lori. Welcome to live stream. Hey everyone. Hope you are amazing tonight. Come on and say hello when you get here. Tonight we're talking about how to change. Kind of a big topic, but I have 3 things that I want to share with you tonight. 3 things I want you to remember, 3 things I want you to do. I am excited to get with you all tonight and really beat the drum of all things manifesting and all things transformational like we like to do around these parts. Come on in and say hello. If you're new to me, please type new. I'd love to see who's new in the house, and if you've been around me a while, let me know. And where are you guys all from? I think most of you know that I'm a Wisconsin gal. Let me know where you're from. Let me know if you're new. Let me know if you're a veteran. Let me know if you have things that you want to change, and if how to change sounds like something that might be helpful to you, because here's what I know. We come to this work not to always manifest your highest desires, not to be in alignment with your most powerful self, not to, right? Not to be the expression of the love that you are, all this lingo. Sometimes we come because we want change. And so I'm like, tonight we're gonna focus on some basics. Of course, we're gonna look at it through the lens of energy and spirituality like I love to do. But I also want to look through the lens really of, what needs changing and how we need to really look at things so it can expand in our experience so we can make the changes that we want to make. And by the way, change is a manifestation. However, I want you to look at your life and say, what do I really want to change? Because that's what we want. We want this betterment. I was laughing because I always have a Loriism, and it's like, we want change, but it feels hard. We want change, but it feels like it will take forever to get there. And we really want this betterment of life, this getting betterism, so to speak. How can I get my life to be better than it is right now? And so that I can really impact, my business or my relationships or my money or I always say we all want 5 things: love, joy, purpose, health, and freedom. We want betterment in life. That's why I want to talk about changes. And change by itself can feel hard, and it can feel scary. So sometimes we find ourselves wanting things to change so bad, but we hold ourselves back kind of in this unbeknownst to us. But we find ourselves sometimes sabotaging ourselves because we fear change, or we don't want to go that fast, or when we do get what we want. I've had this happen to so many of my clients lately. When we do actually get what we want, it's a little overwhelming. We don't know what to do with that. And so change is hard if we make it hard. And so I want to give you some things to latch onto today, some remembrances. Like I said in the beginning, I want to give you 3 things to remember. I want to give you 3 things to do that can help open gateways to making change a little bit easier than maybe it has been in the past. So what I want to start with is some things that I want you to remember. Talk to me a little bit in the chat, and I'll catch you later, but tell me what your experience of change is for you. Is it easy? Is it hard? Do you love it? Does it feel like a roller coaster ride of goodness? Does it feel like a roller coaster ride, screaming, scary? Tell me what it feels like for you. We want this change so much, but like I said, sometimes we sabotage our own self. So here are some things that I want you to remember, okay? So I like to state the obvious, and I tell you guys that all the time, but I have to have you remember a few things so that we can open gateways to help you do the next things. So number 1 is so obvious, right? Let's remember, and I want you to remember that as you're trying to create change in your own life, as you're trying to manifest a better life, as you're trying to create your best reality, you have to remember that the only person you can change is you. The only frequency that you can change is you. And I'm all about supporting, and I'm all about sending love to someone and healing energy and all those things. But I want you to really, really hone in on when you're looking at what you can change in your life or not, look at what you can change. We get really tied up in the fact that we cannot have control sometimes over other humans or other situations or other circumstances. So if you're like, I don't know how I can get my life to change or how to get it where I want it to be, pull back in for a second and just remind yourself, you have to remember that it's the basics, it's the bare bones. I can only change myself. I am the one who not only walks on my own two legs, who takes me from point A to point B. I am the one who's not only fully responsible for my life, but I am the one who can only change my life for me. No one is here to save. We are here to love and exchange, but no one's here to do it for me. So I have to look at myself. What is going on within me? Literally, what's going on within me that's holding me apart from this massive, beautiful change that I want to make in my life? And I always bring you back to being honest with yourself, and that's probably because I'm pretty darn good at it. I'll be like, this is not clipping along the way that I want it. Oh, a certain situation, a certain something, a certain manifestation, a something that I want isn't coming fast enough, something. And I literally will have to say, what is it in me that is holding me back from that which I desire? I can only change myself. What opens the floodgates, we talked about this last week, what opens the floodgates of my abundance, what opens the floodgates of my change, what opens the floodgates of my opportunity or my abundance or my anything, because all these experiences are energy, is me. I seem to be the dominant factor in my life. So that's both good and bad, right? The bad news is there's no one else we can pin it on. The good news is that you're the one that you can change. You have control over the way that you think, you feel, you emit, you do your life. You actually have full control over that. So yeah, circumstance can beat you up a little bit. I know the feeling of that, but you have to remember the good news is I can change myself. So I can be like, I can only change myself. Or I can be like, the good news is I can change myself and the universe responds to me. How cool is that? So I want you to be like bare bones, nitty gritty, stating the obvious with me. I can change myself. Let's celebrate that. I can change me. So that's number one. Number two, for your life to change, this is also a remembrance, something I want you to remember. For your life to change, you might have to change your rule book. So you might have some rules about the way that life is or the way that it needs to be. And I want you to take a look at like what your rules are about change itself, all right? Can change happen only at a certain speed? Do you notice that change is happening in a certain way? Will you only accept it in a certain way? Do you define the box in which it should happen? And if it doesn't happen in that very specific box, is it not going to work for you? The animals abound tonight. Come on up. Does that make sense? So for life to change, your rule book needs to change about change herself. So the way that I see change is I kind of see it like, I kind of see it like all the events that happen on this wave of life force energy that floats through your life. It's a bit like how I describe in some of my classes, in some of the sister classes that I do, how it feels to me synchronicity unfolds. Very one with this universal energy, very one with this field of consciousness, being birthed from this field of consciousness, opportunity, change, unfoldings, they're all being birthed to you from this magnificent quantum field, right? You're holding an energy, you're attracting that change to you, you're allowing it to happen. But here's what happens. You have this big fat rule book that says it can't happen that way, it can't go down that way, and you sabotage. So I want you to look at like changing maybe your rule book about how it needs to happen. And so other things that might need to change in the rule book, not just unhooking from the how, so that more change can come to you faster, with more juiciness, with more magic. But I also want you to change the rule book and ask yourself, what do I want? Because the rule book sometimes says, what does everyone else want? And how do I make everybody else happy? And how can I have the change that I want, but still keep everybody else happy? Instead of saying, universe, I totally get that you can find a way to make us all happy within the context of what our desires are for every single one of us. So nobody has to sacrifice. Like, what if you manifested change like that? So I want you to look at, like, what are your rules around change? What are your rules? Do they have to happen in a certain sequence? Do they have to happen in a certain way? Do you say it cannot be that way? Because here's the thing, when we start being really specific about how it needs to unfold, we start kind of shutting down the universal doors that open for us, because we say nope, 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 and saying, instead of saying, universe, I am so desiring change right now. Bring it to me in any way you see fit. My rule book just got thrown out the car window as I'm going down the highway looking for change itself and being a vibrational match to it. Bring it right onto me. So, in other words, relax about how you think it needs to happen. I have all these things to say about how I want you to feel into it, because I know you want a betterment of your life, a betterment of your life circumstance, but you have to unhook from how you think it needs to happen. And you have to start asking yourself, how do I want to feel? How do I want it to be? How do I want it to be at the end of the road? And not have to navigate around all these other circumstances, because, by the way, you can only change yourself, right? So other rules, self-love first. That could be a big rule, a big change in your rule book. For change to happen for me, I'm going to change my rules, and that means I am going to start putting myself first, my self-transformation first. Feel me? So I want to just peek in. I can't stand it. I cannot stand not seeing your commentary. When I don't see comments, I think that means I need to reload my app. That's what that means. Susan, this is a really good point. You said change is hard and you're a bit scared that you could make things worse. I'm actually going to speak to that in a moment. I'm going to speak to that. So hang on. This is awesome. Laura, so it feels a kind of awkward, a bit scary, but also super exciting. And especially when you take big leaps, right, Laura? You know, I know you. So it's like when you take big leaps, it is a big scary, but so exciting. I'm committed and really followed the guidance and gotten not only nudged, but pushed. Quantum speed, baby. That's right. And that's how it happens. It's like when we start getting it out of our own way, that's when the timeline starts collapsing, and the speed at which things start unfolding, the synchronicities, the opportunities, and yeah, the magnificent changes that we all so much desire, and in the same breath are also terrified of, just to some degree, start floating in. And so it's like we're not ready, but the universe is saying, I'm going to pick you up and we're going to start unfolding this. How good do you really want it? So how good do you guys want it? That's always my question. How good would you like it to be? You know? So I have to ask myself that too, because I forget that sometimes. Like, we get to like say, how good do I want it to be? How much in overflow do I want it to be? How much floodgate can I stand today? Would that be a ride? Would that be, and as I talk about synchronicity in so many of the classwork too, would that be a magic carpet ride? So, Patricia, I love how your animals show up. They do. They're all very addicted to me today. I don't know what the scoop is, but they are all very addicted to me. Luna's like, I found my mother's lap. Okay. Okay, awesome. I'm just scrolling around. Okay, so keep coming. I'd love to hear your experiences about change. So the third, remembrance, and this is actually very big. All right, this is like something that I really want you to know. So make sure to write this down. As far as change goes, you have to remember that you, energy being, beautiful crystalline energy being, you aren't seeking a change, but you cause a change. Like you cause an effect. So everything is energy, you know, and we live in this amazing magnetic universe. And when you shift, life shifts. And so you have to remember that if you want to affect change in your life, you have to remember that your frequency is the factor. You know, your frequency directs that change. So I cause an effect. I cause an effect. And a lot of what I do in some of my programming is that ownership language, like I cause an effect, right? It's not that just I'm affected by my circumstance. It's like, oof, I have to remember I am going to take a stand. I am good. I am going to affect change in my life. In fact, I'm going to shift my energy and with certainty call forth that which I desire, the change that I want to see, right? I be that change. Okay, quote time, right? Be the change that you want to see, right? Be the change you wish to see in the world, but it's really be the change that you wish to see in your life, in yourself, in the world. Be that change. You have to affect, you affect. So it's kind of like, wow, I should maybe change my energy. If I want my life to change, I should make a choice because I create an effect with the frequency that I hold. Right now, in this present, beautiful, divine moment, I can either stay where I'm at, or I can shift circumstance. I can lean into feeling better. I can lean into the vision of the betterment life. What word did I say before? The betterisms. I can line myself up with that. So anything less gives your power away. Anything less doesn't have change coming to you as quickly. So I want you to remember that you cause an effect and really dig into like learning how to cause that effect with more precision, you know, in your manifesting work, in your personal transformation work, how you can shift yourself to cause great waves of effect. I keep saying to you guys, I believe in the butterfly effect, right? One small change creates massive waves of momentum, sometimes on the other side of the earth and sometimes right in your life. So every time I make a conscious shift, I'm like, I know that when I shift, I will shift and my life will. And so I reach for the absolute most transformational shift that I can find, the most highest level of quantum perspective, of quantum living that I can activate, the highest level of myself. I go there and say, it's from this me that I want to create my life, you know? And yes, we will wax and wane, and yes, we will wobble here and there, but that's the human journey. That's the way it goes. And you always pull yourself back to remember, oh my God, I cause an effect. What, sometimes I go, ooh, what effect am I causing right now? That's not so good. And it's not to be the thought police of your life or the vibration police of your life, right? That's not fun, but it's to be awake to that, you know? Like if I want change, I have to remember that I cause the change. I cause the effect. That's really amazing. I cause that. I'm a powerful frequency. I cause. I am the cause. So, and in the same breath, you can only change yourself, which is kind of cool. So you're not responsible for everyone else, but you rendezvous with them. And so I want you to feel into that. And I get that word from Abraham Hicks that, you know, you create circumstance and you rendezvous with like energy. So if you want to change yourself and you'll find that circumstance. And sometimes, you know, your circle starts changing. Okay, tell me if this is helpful. And because I can't see a dang comment, dang it, I need to affect some change. And take this Facebook app and reload it. All right. All right, good conversation happening here. Sweet. I'm going to read it later because there are some like long comments here. Melissa, I am going to read yours though because I know that you're struggling in your job with some stuff going on with a student. You said my energy has totally changed with the relationship with my student. This is so good. The aggression is gone and she no longer beats me up. Wow, quote unquote, that's a big deal. She tells me daily she loves me. Oh my God, that's so cool. Very nice. Sweet. And it was just like, you change and you affected the relationship. She, by the way, is probably seeing your vibrational tone and saying, can I borrow that? And borrowing that. Very good. Good, that's helpful. Sweet, 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 sweet. Okay, I'm going to talk to you now about some things about do this, right? We're like, remember this, shift this, but now do some things. Do some things. Okay. Number one, and we were speaking to just before. We have this idea or this come from that says something like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And what that means is, just let everybody, if it's not broke, don't fix it. If the wheel isn't squeaking, don't add oil. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, okay, yeah, I understand that. But I also understand that if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality sort of sets you up for not creating really what you want. It kind of is like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just settle for what you get. Don't create any waves. Accept the way things are. Don't change anything. And don't upset the apple cart. Don't make waves. Don't have deep desire, right? Don't be that person. Don't be that person that makes a lot of noise and goes out and does something crazy, right? Don't be that person who goes out and, okay, I never experienced this really, but I thought, but don't be that person who goes out and, builds a weird life coaching practice based on spiritual principles. You know what I mean? Or don't go live your passion because it's weird and people will think weird things about you. Don't go write a book because you could be judged. So give yourself permission to really, really change your life. It's like, we kind of always want to fly under this radar. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? Status quo, comfort zones, all the things. And I really want to say, have you given yourself like full permission to do it your way? Full on change, full on, I don't care anymore what anybody thinks of me change, because we really don't sometimes. We fear judgment, we fear criticism, we fear failure, we fear success. What if I get what I want, right? So I'll talk about that in a second too. But like, have you really, really given yourself permission to full on transform yourself? A lot of my work is about manifesting, but it really is about personal transformation. And it's like, do I give myself not only permission to like change my life, but do I give myself permission to really become the person that I want to be, or the person I always wanted to be, or the person who, travel back, I was when I was 5, before I learned that being me might not be so comfortable, or being me might get rejected, right? Or being me might be looked upon strangely. So again, I need to squash who I am, no change, no transformation, only seek acceptance, only seek what feels comfortable. And there isn't anything wrong with security and comfort and all the things, but not at the expense of yourself. So I would love it if you would say, if it feels right, like, I give myself permission to change. I give myself permission to transform into who I want to become, fully, radiantly, without fear for the first time. Like, feel into what that might feel like for you for a second. Wouldn't that be kind of transformational? Wouldn't that be amazing? Because you do know that when you transform yourself, like your whole life changes. Like you are the manifestation. People want to manifest, you know, the stuff, the experiences and the love and the stuff. But, you know, it's like when you transform yourself and you give yourself full permission to like really become that version of you that is the person who lives the dream that you want to live, that one, when you really unhook from that and be like, I'm doing me, no matter what, unabashedly, unapologetically, full on, let's go right now. Transformation starts right now. In fact, I'm letting go of all that I'm not. Let's get to work. Because on the other side of that is everything that I want to experience, the bliss, the joy, the happy, the transformed. Because it's never really about manifesting the new car or the money. I mean, that stuff is awesome, and I want to help you do that, but I need to become that person, and all of that comes. That's how it goes. So, feel me on that? Do you guys feel me on that? I'm gonna go back. Send me some hearts if that resonates. Does that resonate with you? I want you to give yourself full-on permission. Tell me if that resonates. And I'm going to go back to my feed for a second so I can interact with you for a moment. Well, lost you for a second. There you are. Okay. You feel me? Let me. Technological issues. Okay. Okay. Good. All right. The other do. Literally ask the question, right? Assess, is change scary for me? And here's the thing, if change is kind of scary for whatever reason, it could be just not comfortable. It could be that, it could be same, just gives you something to like count on. That's all. And it could be that change is really hard because you risk judgment or you risk criticism, or, you risk, maybe you risk, I don't know, something in your bank account, right? When you go for a big change, or you know what I mean? We just did a big change. We just bought a house, right? So there's investments that go with that, and all kinds of change and all kinds of, unfolding and emotion and kids that, all came together and all this beautiful stuff. And so there was this like, we're totally in this like chrysalis mode, and all of a sudden, whoa, butterfly, right? Butterfly of this life. It's amazing. So I want you to take a look though, because if change is like kind of scary for you, you could be like, my life's not changing. I'm not manifesting anything. But unbeknownst to you, you might be stealth mode, shutting down the things that would attract those changes, those unfoldings, those synchronicities, those opportunities, those big life events that create such beautiful change. And I'm not saying it's all about a big life event. Sometimes it's a tiny turn in the road that you're following. But I want you to assess if it's scary or if you're afraid of it, and be really, really honest. What would happen if I got what I wanted? What would happen if it started to come super fast? I remember talking to one of my sweet clients, and she said, oh my gosh, if the book got too successful too fast, that would mean my quiet little life would change. I'd suddenly be touring and book signing and this and that. And I don't know that I'm really, really ready for that, but I just want you to really be honest with yourself always, because it's the honesty and the awareness that brings the awakening. So if you can just like speak it out of you, I am afraid of this change. This could get a little uncomfortable if I get what I want, but I'm willing to do the ride. It's like when you face those fears and you have a conversation and you create a quantum perspective around them and you transform yourself in the process, that fear doesn't have to sabotage you. It doesn't have to run in stealth mode. Your ego or your mind doesn't have to shut down all of the things that are bringing you directly out of your comfort zone and like throwing you into the lake before you're ready. You're like, I'm ready to dive in right now. So So feel into that. Is it scary? Sometimes it's a little scary for me, occasionally. And sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot go fast enough to this change. And other times, through life, you're like, whoa, I got to stop and take a deep breath, but I'm not going to blame my lack of result on something else. I have to really look at me. It's like, I'm not ready for this change, and I'm going to be honest about that, work through that so it can come to me faster. Okay, raise your hand if that's you, because sometimes it happens like that. Melissa, every time I pop this open, you're the comment that's right there. The Academy was scary for me to take the leap, and I appreciate that. You jumped right into that work, right? That can be scary. It can. To do that transformation work, to put yourself first, to invest in yourself, to do the work, and all of a sudden things kind of start shifting. So I want you to feel into that. Is it scary? Comfort zones make us play smaller, right? Comfort zones are easy, they're comfortable, and change doesn't always happen in them. Just outside your comfort zone. So I want you to think about stretching your comfort zone always. Whether that be, if you're an entrepreneur, I would stretch the comfort zone of your fees. You would not believe how many of my clients are entrepreneurs. Most of you are entrepreneurs, so many of you. And we have this conversation on fee structure often. And it's like, whoa, we have to get even outside of our comfort zone just enough on our fee structure because there's so much noise around it. So pick the area of life that you want and look deeply into the things that you think can't change. Fee structure is one of them. I can't have that fee structure. And I go, well, what if you could? Let's just step outside the comfort zone of that for a minute, because there's so much growth to happen there. There's so many wings to be strapped on your back there, right? Okay. Let me know if this is helpful. Is it scary? Notice where your comfort zones are running in stealth mode and keeping you small and keeping you from not growing in the areas that you want to grow and manifesting the change that you want. It does come back to us. It does come back to, you have to change yourself. And the good news is that you can only change yourself. And that is where you manifest from. It's this power center here, right here. It's you. So life shifts when you do. Okay, number 3, and I did a deep dive on this concept today, but I just want you to ask yourself this question. So do this, ask yourself this question: am I a vibrational, beautiful match to change? Feel into the energy of change for a minute. Willing, easy, flowing, right? There's that side of change. Then there's this side of change. Scary, big, unwilling. 2 sides to activate here. So am I a match to beautiful change, or am I a match to scary, slow moving, isn't going to happen change? So I want to suggest that if you want to be a match to more change in your life and you want to get up to speed with more change, you have to do these things, right? Do these things. Remember these things and put them into place. Put yourself first. Be willing to transform yourself. Change yourself first. Caterpillar to butterfly, caterpillar to butterfly, caterpillar to butterfly. Even if that means caterpillar to butterfly 10 times a day, always be reaching for that, and always asking yourself, if change is really, really, truly my desire in all of these areas, am I a match to it? Or am I holding myself back from it? Let me get really honest with myself here. So much of the work is about awareness and honesty and awakening and being unattached from the judgment of your humanness. You're beautiful in your humanity in so many ways, nothing to be afraid of here, but definitely something to assess. Which side do I land on? Am I change, fluid, easy, willing, unfolding, opportunity, coming, exciting, expectant, hopeful, that, or dread? Then there's change, dread. And if you're in change, dread, but you want it anywhere, I'm gonna invite you to play with these other things. All right, guys, let me know if this was helpful, my dears. Give me some hearts. I'm gonna watch them over on this side of the screen. Give me some hearts if this was helpful and if it opened some gateways, if it helped you get to, you know, understanding like what it takes to change. And I want you to be a vibrational match to it so it like starts to unfold in your life. And if this resonated so beautifully, and if you want to do this work of change and you want to have change happen faster, if you want to be a vibrational match to change sooner than later, let's connect. Give me a hashtag yes below. Tim will drop the link so that you can directly connect with us on our inbox so it's not hard and we'll get with you. So hashtag yes if you want to connect with me and make great changes, great quantum leap, quantum life changes in yourself, in your business, and in your life. I'd be honored to talk with you about how we do that. So let me know below. I hope this was helpful. I will see you next time. I wish you the best week ever, and you guys have a wonderful night. Bye for now.